Within every individual lies a force so vast, so unstoppable, that it can alter the entire course of existence. This force does not come from luck, circumstance, or outside approval. It is born from within. It is the hidden engine of the mind, and once awakened, it reshapes reality itself. Too many go through life unaware of this truth, living as prisoners of doubt, of fear, of limitation, waiting for change to arrive from somewhere beyond themselves. But change does not come from outside. It is created from within. The greatest secret is simple. The mind is the master key to all achievement, and the one who controls their mind controls their destiny. The mind is not passive. It is a creative instrument that shapes everything it touches. Every thought plants a seed, every belief lays a foundation, every intention builds a structure. Some plant weeds of fear and wonder why their life is overrun with struggle. Others plant seeds of faith, persistence, and desire, and they harvest lives of abundance, wealth, and fulfillment. This is not a game of chance. It is a law as unchanging as gravity. The world bends to the images, emotions, and convictions impressed upon the mind. What you think consistently, you eventually live. Consider the power of a single thought. Entire empires have risen because one person dared to imagine the impossible and hold on to that vision until it became reality. Every breakthrough, every invention, every revolution was once nothing more than a thought held with unshakable certainty. A thought is not weak. A thought is the foundation of every triumph, every creation, every success story ever written in human history. To dismiss thought is to dismiss the very seed of greatness. But here lies the danger. The same power that creates success can also create failure. The mind does not discriminate between positive and negative. It will build whatever it is fed. If fear is given, it will build barriers. If doubt is given, it will construct prisons. If limitation is given, it will sculpt a life of mediocrity. Yet if desire is given, it will forge opportunity. If faith is given, it will create breakthroughs. If persistence is given, it will carve a path where no path exists. The mind is loyal. It will serve whatever master it is commanded to serve. The question is, who is commanding it? Every person has within them the power to rewrite the script of their life by rewriting the patterns of their thoughts. This is not done once. It is done daily. It is done with intention, with discipline, with consistency. To change the mind is to change destiny itself. Those who understand this law rise above circumstance. They no longer wait for external permission or luck to shift in their favor. They no longer look at obstacles as barriers, but as challenges to be reshaped by will. They seize control of the one thing that has always belonged to them, the power of their own thoughts. The world may try to convince you that power lies outside, that fate is determined by chance, that success is reserved for the chosen few. But the truth has never changed. The difference between the defeated and the victorious, between the lost and the legendary, lies in the mastery of thought. Every great achievement begins with a mind that refuses to surrender to doubt and instead demands that life yield to its vision. This is the essence of rewiring, the conscious decision to no longer live by old patterns, limiting beliefs and inherited fears, but to strip them away and replace them with thoughts of strength, conviction, and unshakable certainty. It is the process of taking control over what was once uncontrolled. It is the deliberate act of shaping the mind so that it no longer sabotages, but empowers. Imagine for a moment what becomes possible when fear no longer dictates decisions, when doubt no longer silences dreams, when hesitation no longer holds back action. Imagine the clarity, the courage, the unstoppable energy that flows when the mind is fully aligned with purpose. This is not fantasy, it is a choice. The choice to take command of the hidden power within. And so the question becomes unavoidable: will the mind remain dormant, ruled by fear, shaped by chance, and chained by limitation, or will it be awakened, trained, disciplined, and directed toward greatness? The decision belongs to each individual. The truth cannot be ignored. Everything begins in the mind. Change the mind, and life must follow. The force within is waiting. The power is not distant. It is here. It is now. It is alive in every thought, in every belief, in every decision. The future has not been written in stone. It is written in the mind. The moment the mind is rewired, life itself is rewired. The only question left is this: Will you awaken the power within and demand the life you were born to live, or will you leave the greatest force in existence untouched? The choice is yours, and the time is now. Every life, whether one of greatness or one of mediocrity, begins in the same place, in the quiet chambers of thought. Thoughts are not fleeting whispers that vanish into the air. They are forces. They are blueprints. They are the raw material from which reality is constructed. What occupies the mind consistently will, with absolute certainty, take form in the physical world. This truth cannot be escaped, cannot be altered, and cannot be ignored. Thoughts become things. Look closely at the lives of the successful, and you will find one common thread: they refuse to allow their minds to be dominated by limitation. Instead, they filled their inner world with vision, with faith, with relentless belief in what could be. And in time, those inner pictures materialized into wealth, innovation, influence, and power. Their greatness was not born from chance. It was born from thought. But the same law applies in the opposite direction. Thoughts of fear attract failure. Thoughts of weakness attract defeat. Thoughts of poverty attract struggle. The mind does not filter out what is destructive and what is empowering. It simply accepts and builds upon what it is repeatedly given. This is why guarding the mind is the highest duty of anyone who seeks transformation. To allow toxic thoughts to remain is to permit the seeds of destruction to grow. The tragedy is that most people spend their mental energy imagining everything that could go wrong. They rehearse failure in their minds long before they ever take action. They create images of loss, rejection, and defeat, and then are surprised when those very outcomes arrive at their doorstep. But it is not surprise, it is law. The mind magnifies whatever it dwells upon. To obsess over fear is to prepare the ground for fear to flourish. Thought, when mixed with emotion, becomes magnetized. It pulls into reality the circumstances that match its nature. A thought of confidence infused with burning desire becomes a magnet for opportunity. A thought of doubt infused with worry becomes a magnet for obstacles. The question, then, is not whether thoughts create reality, but which thoughts are you willing to authorize to create yours? The most powerful truth is this: you are never a victim of thought. You are the master of it. Though thoughts may come uninvited, they do not have to stay. You can reject what weakens, and you can choose what strengthens. You can refuse the lies of limitation and instead install the truths of power. The mind is clay, and with conscious intention, it can be molded into any form. But the molding requires vigilance. It requires a watchful eye over every word, every image, every belief that enters. For what enters will build, and what builds will become life itself. Examine the thoughts you hold most often, and you will see a mirror of your future. If they are thoughts of abundance, doors will open. If they are thoughts of scarcity, walls will rise. If they are thoughts of victory, strength will follow. If they are thoughts of defeat, failure will wait around every corner. You cannot plant poison and harvest fruit. You cannot plant weeds and expect roses. You cannot fill the mind with doubt and expect destiny to reward you with greatness. This law should not be feared. It should be celebrated. For if thoughts create reality, then the power to design life is already in your hands. You are not bound to the limitations of the past. You are not chained to the mistakes of yesterday. You can choose new thoughts today, and by that choice, you can begin the process of constructing a new tomorrow. The mind does not care how long you have entertained weakness. It will just as faithfully build strength when strength is chosen. To rewire the mind is to take command of this process. It is to become conscious of every thought and to ask, does this serve my destiny or does it sabotage it? If it serves, keep it. If it sabotages, destroy it. Thought management is life management. No one who is careless with thought can be deliberate with destiny. Remember this truth: every building was once an idea. Every fortune was once an image in the mind. Every movement was once a vision carried by thought. What now seems impossible becomes possible the moment thought accepts it as inevitable. Thoughts are not dreams floating in the air. They are realities under construction. So ask yourself, what thoughts are you constructing right now? What life are you designing in the silence of your own mind? The answer to that question is the blueprint of your future. Choose carefully, for your thoughts are not just passing clouds. They are the architects of your destiny. Thoughts become things, and life will always prove it. No power on earth is greater than a mind consumed by desire. Not a weak wish, not a passing hope, not a casual dream, but a burning, unshakable, relentless desire that refuses to be denied. Desire is the spark that ignites action, the fire that fuels persistence, the force that transforms the impossible into the inevitable. Without desire, no plan has power, no vision has life, and no effort can sustain itself. With desire, mountains crumble, obstacles vanish, and limitations dissolve. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who drift into mediocrity is not talent, education, or circumstance. It is the intensity of desire. Talent without desire fades into obscurity. Intelligence without desire leads to wasted potential. Opportunity without desire is ignored or squandered. But even the least equipped individual, if consumed with burning desire, can rise to heights others deem unattainable. For desire multiplies strength, sharpens focus, and awakens creativity. Desire is not born from idle wishing. Wishing is weak. Wishing waits for conditions to improve. Wishing depends on chance. Desire, on the other hand, is fierce. Desire does not wait for perfect timing. It creates it. Desire does not beg for opportunity. It builds it. Desire does not depend on luck. It commands destiny to obey. When the mind is saturated with burning desire, every setback becomes fuel, every rejection becomes proof, and every barrier becomes a challenge to be crushed. It has been said that a person must want success as badly as they want air. Imagine being held underwater. Every second is filled with one thought, one need, one obsession to breathe. Nothing else matters, nothing else has meaning, nothing else can compete. That is the level of desire required to achieve greatness. When success becomes as necessary as oxygen, when the vision becomes more important than comfort, when the dream becomes more urgent than sleep, then and only then does achievement move from possibility to inevitability. Desire is not simply a feeling, it is a command to the subconscious mind. It is the language through which the conscious mind speaks to the deeper levels of power within. When desire is strong enough, it rewires the subconscious, reprogramming it to see opportunity where others see difficulty, to find solutions where others see problems, to keep pushing where others surrender. Desire plants the instructions, and the subconscious executes them relentlessly, until reality reflects the vision. But here lies the truth many fail to grasp. Desire without action is fantasy. To desire without movement is to dream without awakening. Desire demands expression, and its expression is action. Every great achievement is born from the union of burning desire and decisive action. Desire fuels the persistence to keep moving forward when results are invisible. Desire sustains the courage to continue when others ridicule or doubt. Desire provides the energy to keep climbing when the summit seems unreachable. This is why those who lack desire crumble at the first obstacle. Their motivation dies when hardship arrives because their wish was never strong enough to withstand resistance. But those consumed by burning desire do not quit. They cannot quit. To them, quitting feels like suffocation. To them, surrender is impossible. Their desire is too great to allow defeat to be permanent. The question then becomes, how does one ignite this burning desire? It begins with clarity. A vague dream cannot set the soul on fire. Desire requires a definite aim, a clear purpose, a vision so specific that it excites the imagination and pulls the heart into alignment. When the mind knows exactly what it wants and why it must have it, desire grows like a wildfire. Desire must also be fed daily. It must be nurtured with vision, strengthened with faith, and fueled by action. Left unattended, desire fades. Left unguarded, it weakens. But when it is renewed every morning, reinforced every night, and kept alive in every thought and word, it becomes an unstoppable driving force. Burning desire is the birthplace of greatness. It is the foundation upon which every empire has been built, every fortune has been created, every discovery has been made. Without it, life drifts. With it, life transforms. The choice is always there, to wish half-heartedly or to desire with fire. And so, the challenge is this. What do you truly desire? Not what you hope for when convenient, not what you casually think about, but what you are willing to dedicate your mind, your energy, your very life to achieving. Until that answer is found, success remains elusive. But the moment you discover it, and the moment you allow it to consume you, the universe begins to rearrange itself to deliver it. For burning desire is not just the beginning of success, it is the guarantee of it. Faith is the invisible force that transforms thought into reality. It is the bridge between the idea and its manifestation, the power that gives substance to what cannot yet be seen. Without faith, desire remains only a dream, a picture in the imagination without the strength to step into existence. With faith, however, the impossible becomes inevitable, the unseen becomes visible, and the intangible takes form in the physical world. Faith is not fragile. It is the most powerful weapon the mind possesses. But let this truth be clear, faith is not blind hope. Hope wishes while faith knows. Hope waits while faith acts. Hope depends on luck, while faith depends on law. Faith is a deep inner conviction, a certainty so strong that doubt cannot survive in its presence. It is the unwavering belief that what is conceived in the mind will, through persistence and discipline, come alive in reality. Faith is mental certainty. Faith is trust in the unseen. Faith is the assurance that destiny bends to the one who refuses to doubt. The individual without faith is tossed like a ship without a rudder, moving aimlessly, defeated by the first storm. But the individual with faith becomes immovable, unshaken by rejection, unbroken by obstacles. Faith acts as an anchor in the midst of resistance. It provides stability when the winds of doubt howl and the storms of circumstance rage. Faith whispers, "Keep going," when everything around screams, "Give up." Faith sustains the march when the road is long and the destination invisible. Why is faith so powerful? Because it commands the subconscious mind. The subconscious accepts what the conscious mind believes with conviction, whether positive or negative. Doubt repeated often enough becomes a belief in failure. Fear repeated often enough becomes a belief in defeat. But faith repeated with certainty plants instructions into the subconscious that cannot be ignored. The subconscious then aligns every resource, every perception, every ounce of creativity to fulfill the command it has been given. Faith is not passive, it is an instruction to life itself. Every achievement of greatness has been born through faith. When the world said impossible, faith said inevitable. When circumstances offered no evidence of success, faith saw what could not yet be seen. When failure repeated itself 100 times, faith declared that success was still certain. It is this quality that separates those who rise from those who retreat. Faith does not eliminate difficulty, but it refuses to bow to it. Faith does not deny struggle, but it transforms struggle into strength. Faith in motion is not just belief, it is belief expressed through action. To say one has faith yet remain idle is contradiction. Real faith steps forward even when the path is unclear. Real faith takes action even without guarantees. Real faith invests energy, time, and effort as though success is already secured. The person with faith acts with certainty, while the person without faith hesitates until certainty is proven. But by the time certainty is proven, the opportunity has already passed. Faith moves first, and proof follows later. Many fall into the trap of waiting until conditions appear perfect before taking action. They want every risk removed, every guarantee secured, every step illuminated before they move. But faith does not wait for perfect conditions. Faith creates the conditions. Faith is the courage to leap when the ground beneath is not yet visible. It is the decision to move forward when logic says retreat. It is the unshakable certainty that destiny belongs to those who demand it with conviction. To cultivate faith is to saturate the mind with thoughts of success, to feed it with affirmations of certainty, to surround it with voices that strengthen belief. Faith must be trained, for just as fear grows through repetition, so does faith. Each time you choose belief over doubt, each time you choose persistence over surrender, faith grows stronger. It becomes a habit, a reflex, a mental state that no longer questions whether success is possible, but only how quickly it can be achieved. Understand this: life will always test the strength of faith. Delays will come, failures will come, resistance will come. These are not signs of impossibility. They are the very training ground of faith. The more faith is tested, the deeper its roots grow, the more resistance it faces, the stronger it becomes. Faith is not built in comfort, faith is forged in fire. The question is not whether faith works, it always works. The question is whether faith is placed in success or in failure, in victory or in defeat, in possibility or in limitation. For the law is neutral. Whatever is believed with conviction will be created. Faith in weakness produces weakness. Faith in strength produces strength. The choice belongs to the one who thinks. Faith in motion is the greatest force a human being can carry. It does not ask for evidence. It creates it. It does not bow to circumstances. It reshapes them. It does not stop at obstacles. It uses them as stepping stones. With faith, the unseen becomes seen, and the impossible becomes inevitable. So plant faith deeply, act upon it daily, and refuse to let doubt find a home in your mind. For when faith is present, destiny is already written. The world bows not to talent alone, nor intelligence, nor charm, nor circumstance. It bows to persistence. Persistence is the quality that refuses to die, the force that keeps moving when every reason to quit is present. It is the quiet, relentless power that outlasts resistance, outthinks opposition, and outworks defeat. Persistence is not glamorous, but it is unstoppable. And in the end, it is persistence that builds empires, shapes destinies, and creates legacies. The majority surrender too soon. They begin with excitement, fueled by initial motivation, but the moment the path grows rough, they falter. They expect ease, and when difficulty arrives, they bow to it. But those who rise to greatness live by a different code. They do not stop at the first sign of resistance, nor at the 10th, nor at the 100th. They continue no matter how long the road, no matter how high the mountain, no matter how heavy the burden. For they understand a truth most never grasped. Persistence eventually wears down every obstacle. Think of water striking stone. One drop seems weak, insignificant, powerless. But strike long enough, and the stone is carved, reshaped, conquered. The drop never grows stronger, yet the stone never grows harder. Persistence wins not because of strength, but because it never stops. Life is the same. Obstacles may appear immovable, but persistence grinds them down until they crumble. Every breakthrough in history has been forged in persistence. Inventions that changed the world were not born in a single attempt, but after countless failures, trials, and defeats. Fortunes were not built in one stroke of luck, but through years of discipline, setbacks, and recovery. Greatness is never handed to those who ask once and quit. It is reserved for those who demand repeatedly, insistently, relentlessly, until destiny has no choice but to yield. Persistence is not simply enduring failure. It is transforming failure into fuel. Each rejection, each mistake, each setback is not a signal to stop, but a lesson to adapt, adjust, and advance. To the persistent, failure is not final, it is feedback. It sharpens strategy, strengthens resolve, and builds character. Where others see a wall, the persistent see a challenge to climb. Where others see defeat, the persistent see the next step to victory. The truth is simple. Nothing can permanently stop the one who refuses to stop. The forces of resistance may delay, discourage, or detour, but they cannot destroy persistence. Even life itself cannot deny what will not quit. For persistence is more than a trait. It is a law. It declares that everything must eventually yield to the one who continues. But persistence is not passive. It is not waiting endlessly for circumstances to change. Persistence is active. It is daily movement, daily effort, daily progress toward the vision, regardless of difficulty. It is the refusal to let emotions dictate action. It is the decision to advance even when energy is low, motivation is gone, and doubt is loud. Persistence is discipline in motion. It is courage in action. Those who lack persistence are slaves to comfort. They move only when it is easy, only when it feels good, only when results are immediate. But those who cultivate persistence master themselves. They rise above feeling and command action. They move forward regardless of mood, regardless of fear, regardless of fatigue. They understand that the body can be tired, the emotions can be drained, but persistence is a choice that cannot be stolen. Persistence requires vision. No one can endure long without knowing why they endure. A burning desire gives persistence its fire. Faith gives persistence its certainty. Without these, persistence weakens. But when the mind is consumed by a clear purpose and fueled by belief, persistence becomes automatic. It becomes natural. It becomes inevitable. Life will test persistence. It will throw setbacks, failures, betrayals, disappointments. It will offer easier paths, tempting distractions, seductive excuses. These are not meant to destroy, but to separate the weak from the strong. The question is never whether obstacles will come. The question is whether persistence will remain. The ones who refuse to stop ultimately stand where others surrendered. They inherit the victory abandoned by the quitters. They rise to the level denied to the impatient. They hold in their hands the rewards given not to the fastest nor the strongest, but to the most relentless. Understand this: persistence is the price of greatness. It is a toll every dreamer must pay. But once paid, it guarantees success. For life itself cannot defeat the one who will not stop. So let persistence become your armor, your shield, your unshakable companion. Let it push you when strength is gone. Let it carry you when doubt is loud. Let it remind you that nothing, absolutely nothing, can stand forever against the power of the one who refuses to quit. Persistence against all odds is not just a principle. It is the difference between those who wish and those who win. Discipline is the silent architect of greatness. It is the force that builds empires, shapes character, and turns vision into reality. Without discipline, desire is wasted, faith is fragile, and persistence collapses under pressure. Discipline is the bridge that carries dreams out of imagination and plants them firmly into existence. It is the unwavering commander that directs the mind and body toward destiny, regardless of mood, temptation, or circumstance. Self-discipline is mastery of the self. It is the ability to rule thought, to control impulse, to command action. Most live as slaves to feeling, moving when it feels good, stopping when it feels hard, giving in when temptation whispers. But the disciplined rise above feeling. They do not serve comfort, they serve purpose. They do not surrender to impulse, they surrender to vision. In every decision, discipline stands guard, ensuring that the choices made align with the life demanded. Consider this truth: every failure can be traced to a lack of discipline. The failure to think before acting, the failure to persist before quitting, the failure to control desires that sabotage progress. And every success can be traced to its presence. The discipline to wake when tired, to work when uninspired, to resist when tempted, to continue when weary. Discipline is the dividing line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. It frees the individual from the chains of laziness, distraction, and regret. It frees them from the tyranny of impulses that destroy progress. Discipline is not a prison, it is a passport. It grants freedom to create wealth, to command health, to achieve mastery. Without it, life is ruled by chaos. With it, life is ruled by order and intention. Self-discipline is power in motion. It is the strength to do what must be done, not what is easy. It is the courage to make decisions today that will serve tomorrow. It is the determination to sacrifice momentary comfort for lasting success. The undisciplined chase pleasure and reap regret. The disciplined endure struggle and reap greatness. Discipline is not born in comfort, it is forged in resistance. Each time a temptation is resisted, discipline grows stronger. Each time action is taken despite fatigue, discipline sharpens. Each time purpose is chosen over pleasure, discipline becomes unbreakable. Like a muscle, it strengthens with use. The more it is practiced, the easier it becomes. And soon, discipline is no longer effort. It is habit, it is identity, it is natural. Every master in history of wealth, of art, of science, of leadership was first a master of discipline. Their achievements may seem extraordinary, but at their core was one simple truth: they commanded themselves when others could not. They ruled their time, their focus, their habits, their actions. They did not wait for inspiration to move them. They moved with or without it. They did not wait for motivation to appear. They acted, and motivation followed. Discipline is also the shield against destruction. Without it, success crumbles. Wealth without discipline is wasted. Power without discipline is corrupted. Opportunity without discipline is lost. It is discipline that preserves what persistence creates. It is discipline that sustains what desire begins. It is discipline that protects what faith builds. Those who lack discipline live reactive lives, chasing distraction, obeying impulse, surrendering to weakness. But those who cultivate discipline live proactive lives. They create, they direct, they command. Life does not happen to them, they happen to life. The disciplined do not wait until they feel like it. They act regardless of feeling, for they know that feelings are fleeting, but destiny is eternal. They do not excuse failure with stories of circumstance. They demand obedience from themselves first. They do not beg the world for change. They change themselves and the world follows. To rewire the mind is to enthrone discipline as its ruler. It is to train the mind to act on command, to think on purpose, to align every decision with vision. Discipline says no to weakness so it can say yes to greatness. Discipline denies comfort so it can grant freedom. Discipline refuses excuses so it can deliver results. Understand this, self-discipline is the highest form of self-respect. To command yourself is to honor yourself. To obey your higher purpose over your lower impulse is to declare mastery over life itself. Greatness is not an accident. Wealth is not a gift. Success is not luck. All are built, guarded, and sustained by the same foundation, discipline. And until discipline becomes your master, destiny cannot become your servant. So let discipline rise within you. Let it take command over every thought, every word, every action. Let it silence excuses, destroy weakness, and drive you relentlessly toward the future you demand. For when discipline rules, nothing can stop you. No one rises to greatness alone. Every triumph, every empire, every lasting achievement has been built not by a single individual standing in isolation, but by the combined strength of many minds working in harmony. This is the principle of the mastermind, the alignment of thought, energy, and vision with others who amplify, sharpen, and expand your power. To rewire the mind for greatness, one must also rewire the circle of influence, for the environment shapes destiny as much as desire. The truth is simple. You become like those you surround yourself with. If you walk among the weak, weakness seeps into you. If you sit with the doubtful, doubt whispers into your ear. If you allow your days to be consumed by the voices of mediocrity, mediocrity becomes your destiny. But if you walk with the ambitious, you will rise in ambition. If you connect with the disciplined, discipline will imprint upon you. If you align yourself with visionaries, your own vision will expand beyond what you once believed possible. The mastermind is not just companionship, it is multiplication. A single mind may see one path forward, but a collective of aligned minds sees infinite. A single perspective may be limited by personal doubt, but in the presence of others committed to growth, belief multiplies, courage spreads, and creativity compounds. The mastermind does not simply add power, it multiplies it. It transforms individuals into forces far greater than they could ever be alone. But here lies the danger. The same law works in reverse. Negative influence is just as powerful. Surround yourself with the defeated, and their defeat will seep into your thinking. Surround yourself with complainers, and complaint will become your language. Surround yourself with the lazy, and soon your own fire will dim. The mind cannot remain unaffected by its environment. It either rises with the company it keeps or falls with it. To create a mastermind is to choose deliberately. It is to surround yourself with those whose very presence sharpens your resolve, whose words ignite your belief, whose standards demand your best. It is to remove from your circle those who poison your focus, waste your time, or pull you backward. This is not cruelty, it is necessity. Greatness cannot grow in the soil of negativity. The company you keep is either fertilizer for your destiny or poison for your progress. History has proven this truth again and again. Behind every leader stood advisors, allies, and visionaries who strengthened the mission. Behind every great creator stood partners who added perspective, encouragement, and new ideas. No empire was built by one set of hands alone. The principle is clear. Surround yourself with the right minds, and your own mind expands to meet them. The mastermind also carries another power, accountability. Alone, it is easy to drift, to excuse failure, to justify delay. But in the presence of others who demand progress, excuses vanish. The right mastermind will not allow weakness to remain unchallenged. It will not allow comfort to destroy growth. It will sharpen you as iron sharpens iron. It will demand from you the version of yourself you cannot yet demand alone. To rewire your mind for lasting success, you must rewire your associations. Examine carefully who speaks into your life, who influences your thoughts, who shapes your conversations. Are they pulling you upward or dragging you downward? Do they remind you of your vision or distract you from it? Do they challenge you to rise higher, or do they encourage you to settle? Understand this, association is not optional. You will be influenced whether you choose deliberately or not. The only question is, by whom? Will you be influenced by mediocrity or mastery, by the defeated or the determined, by the small-minded or the great-minded? Choose deliberately, for that choice will determine your future. The mastermind is proof that success is never built alone. Every mind has limits, but aligned minds expand those limits. Every vision has blind spots, but aligned visionaries remove them. Every challenge feels heavy, but with aligned allies, the weight becomes bearable. Alone, progress is slow. Together, progress accelerates. So let this truth be carved into your mind. Who you walk with determines where you go. The circle you choose shapes the destiny you live. Build your mastermind wisely. Protect it fiercely. Contribute to it fully. And watch as your influence, your power, and your success multiply beyond anything you could have imagined alone. There comes a moment when learning must turn into action, when understanding must become transformation, when wisdom must no longer be words but a weapon forged in the fire of decision. That moment is now. The mind has been given the blueprint, the tools, the principles. Desire has been awakened, faith has been ignited. Persistence has been demanded, discipline has been enforced, influence has been revealed. But none of it matters unless action is taken. Knowledge without action is powerless. Belief without execution is wasted. Vision without movement is nothing more than illusion. To rewire the mind is not to passively absorb information. It is to tear out the weeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, and to plant deliberately the seeds of greatness. It is to choose every single day the thoughts that dominate the mind, the words that shape belief, the actions that direct destiny. It is to rise each morning with intention, to fill the subconscious with the commands of victory, and to align every choice with the vision of success. Rewiring is not a one-time act. It is a daily discipline, a lifetime of deliberate mental mastery. The world belongs to those who act. History does not remember the wishers, the dreamers who never moved, the thinkers who never dared. History remembers the doers, the ones who refused to stop, the ones who demanded results from themselves, the ones who turned invisible thoughts into tangible realities. The mind is the battlefield, and only the disciplined, the persistent, the faithful, the determined will claim victory. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait for encouragement. Do not wait for permission. The time is now. Every moment you delay, doubt grows stronger. Fear digs deeper, weakness spreads wider. But the instant you act, power awakens, momentum builds, and destiny begins to shift in your favor. Waiting is defeat. Action is victory. Look within. The vision you carry is not accidental. The dream you hold is not random. It was placed within you as a demand, a responsibility, a calling. It is not there to be ignored. It is there to be fulfilled. To betray that vision is to betray yourself. To neglect that dream is to deny your own purpose. The world does not need another spectator. It needs your fire, your strength, your contribution. This is the command: rise above mediocrity. Refuse to surrender to doubt. Refuse to bow to fear. Refuse to live small when greatness is possible. Every principle has led you to this point. Burning desire gave you the spark. Faith gave you the certainty. Persistence gave you the endurance. Discipline gave you the control. The mastermind gave you the multiplication of power. Now, all that remains is the final step, execution. Action is the ultimate proof of belief. If you believe you are destined for greatness, act like it. If you believe your vision will come to life, move toward it relentlessly. If you believe success belongs to you, demand it with every breath, every choice, every action. Let the world see your faith not in your words, but in your work. Let destiny feel the weight of your persistence, not in your intentions, but in your execution.